And we're back. Part
Hi,
two, part
everyone.
two.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay. We're all, I mean, founder of technical difficulties coming in hot. An internet talking head. I love that so much. Live chat. What's been going on? I know y'all are, this is probably part 2 of a mega live stream because Danielle went live earlier to
It's a
combat
streamathon.
a streamathon. It is a streamathon. Yes. So, oh my God, we're gonna be unfortunately we're gonna be doing part 2 of the podcast. I say usurping, kind of. I don't. She posts podcasts as a guest before the host posts the podcast. She did the same thing to the Dream podcast. She's done it to almost every single every single podcast she's ever been a guest on, except for Ed Milet. And that is only because she probably couldn't do anything because she actually respects him. But
And she was in the room with him, I think, right?
Yeah, so she couldn't have
his
snuck in
podcast.
on that. Yep.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing is like she does it secretly. At least I'm assuming she does it secretly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to be secret if you're both in the same room.
But you've been a guest on podcasts before, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to take this time to disclose now. I was interviewed on The Dream, and I'm pretty sure she tried to make it sound like I was a scammer. So I want someone else to listen to the episode and let me know because I'm too afraid to listen to it.
Oh my God, no way. Are you serious?
It was awful.
Okay, send me the link. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I don't think someone in the chat can let us know when the new season comes out, but she interviewed me about life coaching. And I thought it was going to be like, okay, this is why the industry is whack. And instead, she was like asking me all these questions, trying to drag me. And I was like, did you actually do your research and watch my YouTube channel before you talk to me? So,
oh, no.
We'll see.
Okay. I'm scared to listen, but I'll listen when it comes.
Yeah, I'm very scared to listen. Out. So if someone else wants to let me know how bad it is, I'd love to know.
Oh, God. I hope it wasn't. I was like, Danielle's fighting the coaching industry, so I hope
single-handedly.
I know. Holy moly.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't record myself while I was recorded on that, if that's what you were going to ask me.
That is what I was going to ask you. Yeah, we have an exploding, I don't know, it kind of is a combination of a maybe like a macaron or a macaroon or whatever they're called, but it looked kind of like the headphone exploding, so that's why I used it. And so yeah, here we are, day 2 of Jessie Lee Ward. And so I'm going to be over here and we're going to do this. Oh God, hold on. No, hold on. Here we go.
My grandmother allowed my mom.
Okay, hold on. There we go. I got it. I'm just gonna technical difficulties. Live chat. How are we doing? Okay. Good enough. All right. This is 30 minutes in. If you missed part 1,
go watch that first.
And unfortunately, we do have an Avi cam, but I do not recommend you look at it, especially in part 1, because I don't think he thinks he's being filmed, and that causes some problems. So do not look at all. I mean, if you want to, you're free to, because I haven't blurred it out, but it's not the best. So, all right, here we go.
And my aunt to heal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 87 years old. My aunt's 93 years old. Right. So the fact that you like this beautiful relationship, that you never, met, that the power of forgiveness is really beautiful. Can you dive into a little bit more? Because I look at you and I don't even think you look like the same person that you did when I first met, because there's this bossly, but there's always been a gentle, beautiful side of bossly. I think that people get a little confused about that too. Mm-hmm. Like, to be a boss, you can't be, like you said, you can't be up to that. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. You just command what you're really willing to command. Can you talk a little bit about that for someone who's ready to unleash those parts?
Yeah, it's just that cliche, I suppose, that forgiveness is for you. And I had trained that for years, just like I'm sure you have as well. And you don't live it until you live it.
I tried to turn it up. I'm trying to boost the sound, but that's as loud as we can get it right now, I think. So I will try to turn myself down, but Danielle's audio channel is on the same one that's mine is, so I can try. We'll try this. So
like, I love that your family had that moment too. I realized how free I actually felt for the first time in a very long time, or ever, really. I don't know. And then I just realized, what more people need to realize? It just goes back to what we kind of talked about people who do these crazy exposés about people on the internet. It's like, no, my mom's not perfect, but neither am I.
Yep.
Right? And I don't think people understand. Well, actually, here's the interesting thing. So this is life is happening for you, not to you. I wonder who that's from. But I'm not wishing any kind of diagnosis on anybody, of course. But in a very strange, twisted way.
I do not wish this diagnosis on anybody, but
exactly.
I don't know what to say. I don't want to put words in her mouth. We're just responding to every word that comes out of it. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I know there's some people that feel like they've learned lots of things through the uncontrollables, like getting a disease or losing a family member or whatever. Those people who learn those lessons would never wish that on anybody. Full stop. They would never wish that on anybody. God.
Absolutely not.
My gratitude for the diagnosis of colon cancer cannot be understated. And the reason, first of all, yes, it made me slow down and be more grateful and smell the roses and do all this stuff that people talk about. But more importantly, it has started to allow me for the last 8 months to show Jessie Lee on the internet.
Haven't you been showing Jessie? Look, you could have shown her any time. She used to say back in 2014, 2015 that she was going to be herself, that she was not the industry standard of what a successful person looked like in multi-level marketing, that she was louder than the average person, that she wasn't conforming to any like beauty standards or whatever. And now it's like, oh, I wasn't being my authentic self then. I'm really being my authentic self now. And it just so happens I'm doing that and wishing harm on all the people speaking out against my unethical behavior. I mean, come on. Oh my God.
Because you and I have had countless encounters.
Avi has fallen to the floor. He's on his stomach.
Like this, where I'm soft, I'm kind, I'm chatting with you, you see my heart, I see your heart, we talk about your family, we talk about my family, we talk about whatever. Like one of the more recent times I was with you, it was your anniversary. Like I still remember, right? Like, it's my anniversary. like all this, it's like, you have seen me because you know me as a person and you've known me for so long. And anybody who meets me sees this side, right? If you run into me in the airport or something, you'll meet Jessie Lee, right? And
did what's his name? Did Dennis Rodman meet you? Was that the guy that she took a picture with in front of the star and she literally shaded the shit out of him, even though he took the time to talk to her for that time, and she made fun of him and berated him on her social media post for being intoxicated in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So did he meet the Jessie Lee then? Because you're talking about yourself like you're two different people, and sometimes the Jessie Lee that shows up is someone who makes fun of others, and I don't condone that at all.
Mm-mm.
For so long, I only showed Boss Lee on the internet because maybe part of it's protection or something, or this is like the business side or something like that, which is true. But it's actually made me way more powerful because people are starting to go, see, she was really smart, but she was almost like a little too much. I don't know why. Maybe that's me. Like I felt like she was too much, but now I'm like, I really like her, which is almost.
Nobody didn't like you because you are quote unquote too smart. No one said that. Not one anti-MLM show or not one critique that I've heard, and I've listened to a lot, have said, man, you know what? Jessie Lee's too smart, and I just hate smart people. I haven't heard that one time. Not once.
I'm a big dumb idiot, and I only hang out with dumb idiots.
Oh my God.
Sad because I'm like, you would have liked me all along because I've always been this. I've always been this nice. I've always been this way with my friends. I've always been this way in relationships and friendships and even just one-on-one conversations. I've always been the thank you, you're welcome, I'll hold the door, whatever. I've always been that person. I've always been like the sweetheart. And the internet never really got to see that. And so for anybody.
So the internet that's getting to see parts of it now where you are shaming people for being bad dog parents because their dog randomly got attacked by a coyote. And you made it seem like Aaron had somehow been neglectful of her pets when they live in a more remote area, or they were living in a more remote area at the time. It's like, what nice person are we talking about? The one who wished people on the internet who talked about people who have cancer that they should be harmed in hell for all of eternity? Like, where's the kind person we're talking about? Because and I'll say this, I'm not a kind. I don't think I would fall into any category of being kind. I get it. I'm on the internet. I'm talking about people's behavior, but it's just, I can also say like, something doesn't line up to me, in my opinion.
I think intention is a big piece of like behind anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if her intentions are necessarily good.
I think they're definitely for her. I think her intentions for her behavior is for the purposes of making as much money as possible, in my opinion. And that's just, you know. What do you need, girl? I've got 3 floofs around me and they're wanting something, but I don't know. What do you need?
Do you have any snacks?
I don't have any snacks, unfortunately. They're just looking at me and it's like I can feel their eyes on me. Okay.
Somebody who's just kind of like going through that tough phase where they're trying to protect themselves from everything, I would just say, look, I've been there. I lived there for way too long. And I have a childhood where for many reasons I could live there and nobody would tell me that I shouldn't live there, right? But at what point in your life are you going to start taking responsibility? I suppose is really a question you need to start asking yourself. At what point is it no longer your parents' fault that, you know, you were abused or all these crazy things that happened to me? Like, I'm just like thinking in my head, like replaying memories. How much longer are you going to allow yourself to live in the past and also blame people for your misfortunes or your reasons you're not successful or your reasons why you're you know, failing at something or your reasons why your life looks the way it looks? I stepped so far out of that victim mentality when all this happened. And again, I felt like I was out of that victim mentality for a long time, but stepping into it in a completely different way now where I see how strong I am because I don't have any, there's no facade.
Yeah,
like,
there is.
This is just, it's me.
Can I just say this? If you're listening in the live chat and you are in any way influenced by Jessie Lee Ward, that there is a space, there's a nuanced space to say shit and trauma can happen to you and it can be the responsibility of somebody else, and it is okay to say that real part of your childhood or your teenagehood or your adulthood is meaningful and could make your life harder to live, and that is okay to say. She's saying like, oh, I'm just going to paint with a broad brush and say you're either a victim or you're not. And if you're a victim, you better not say you're a victim because it's going to prevent you from making a shit ton of money. Life is more complex than that.
Exactly.
In this way, I love the Wayne Dyer quote because people are looking for a reason to be offended, right? So it's easy, right? Because then they don't have to take responsibility for where they're at. But you know, it's funny that everything you said, and I love that you talk so much about, you know, you don't do anything that just really doesn't make you happy. I don't know. I thought that was just a 50+ thing, just so you know.
but think about that though. Why would you have gotten there at 50+? Because of wisdom, because of life experience. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, keep going. Please, teacher.
I'm just saying, it's like, you know, well, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought.
Is Avi doing a plank? Like, what is happening?
It kind of looks like it.
But I'm just
talking about why would you get there at 50? This is really important. Like you said, like the reason that you do get there is because I used to remember once I was having a talk with Bob Proctor, God bless him, he's one of my favorite people in the world. And I said, Bob, I owe you an apology. I said, because I used to poo-poo the whole like life experience type of thing. And now I get it. Like, you know, the more experiences you've had, the more time you've had in the trenches, the more references that you have and, you know, more resources, more resourceful that you get. I know both you and I are very resourceful. Find a way or make a way or create a whole new.
The lady, if y'all missed the first part of this, the lady she's talking to is a top leader in Juice Plus, and I forgot her name. I think it's God, I wish I could remember.
I don't remember.
In something. I'm sure somebody in the live chat remembers, but I do not.
Superhighway, whatever that we need to do. You more than a superhighway. I'm still on a highway. I need a lot of
Also, Danielle, I put mine on subscribers only because Jessie Lee's kind of more of a hot, like a whatever it's called, inflammatory subject a little bit. So I don't know if you just wanted to let you know. So
I don't care. They can come for me. I'm ready.
Get ready.
But,
The dream's already going to drag me. So
I can't believe that's happening. That's I'm like, maybe you have to make a little video like, hey,
Well, I'm waiting to see how bad it is. If it's bad, I'm gonna out her.
oh god,
You want to take me down? Let's go. But if it's good,
great.
I'm on your side.
Oh god, we're scared.
So you're saying though about experience, talk about that, because it's true, because I think that's why a lot of people do say when they're 50s, but you had some life experiences happen that you didn't expect to happen in your 30s, right?
Yep.
That got you to kind of.
Yeah, well, the reason why people can say things like when they look back on things, they have, this life experience, etc. It's just because you've lived through things. And so I think a lot of times when I look at my success in general, I used to say this all the time. I haven't said it in a long time. Like, I understand that people look at successful people, myself included, and they go, "Oh, I wish I had what they had."
No, maybe some people do for sure. Me, no, I just don't. I'm not trying to be snarky. I don't. I mean, I love that she has dogs who love her, and I'm happy for her, and that's about it. I don't want her cars. I don't want her penthouse. I don't want the way that she makes money. It's just a no for me. I don't want any of it. So I don't know like why this keeps being brought up that oh, the only reason we're talking about Jessie Lee or whatever is because we're haters. I don't get that. I just don't.
It's just the default. It's like they all say the same thing. Like anyone in MLM. Oh, you're just a hater. If you have an opposing viewpoint, it's because you hate me.
Yeah.
I wish I had the travel. I wish I traveled the places she traveled. I wish I flew the way she flies. I wish I had the, I don't know, name stuff, the house, the cars, the whatever, or the businesses or whatever.
I don't wish I rented the house that you destroyed, that you went to court over and then you had to settle. I don't wish that I really don't. I don't wish I had any of your houses. I don't wish I had any of your cars. I really don't. Like maybe being able to fly business class or economy plus so like my spouse wouldn't crush their knees behind somebody in the airplane. Like maybe that's about it. I can afford
That's all I want.
like come on. Oh wait, you don't know? Aaron, Julie, Joe, and who else? Aaron, Julie, Joe, and Chelsea, and somebody else. My mind is drawing a blank. They went over the lawsuit. They went in like, yeah, the house was wrecked. She blames her boyfriend, and her name was on the lease. So yeah,
whatever it is. And I say, right, but are you willing to also go through what I've been through to get where I am? Because you don't want that. You don't want the childhood. Trust me, you don't want the childhood that I had. You just don't. You don't.
There's not any, in my opinion, I don't think that you can say because top leaders in MLM some of them have had traumatic childhoods that you then have to have a traumatic childhood to be successful. I think that's what she's alluding to here, and I don't agree. There's people that are successful that have had fine, like no trauma filled childhood, and there's some that are good, that are successful, that have had childhood trauma. So are there unsuccessful people, meaning like they just have regular jobs. Some of them are still functioning and they have childhood trauma, and some of them are still at, what she would call a 9 to 5, like black hole of
Loser.
and yeah, and they had a fine childhood. So it's not, I don't know how you chart that. I don't know how you actually take that data and make that assumption, except that she is trying to, I don't know, make it mean something for herself. I don't.
Exactly. Because you can even look at like circumstances in which multiple siblings grew up in the same circumstances, all experience the same trauma. One ends up fine, the other one doesn't, or like, it's,
Yep.
she's just trying to, I think, like put meaning maybe where it possibly doesn't exist, in my opinion, allegedly.
Yeah, it's just like it's important to be able to make logical jumps from an actual logical place and not just end up somewhere and then say, oh yeah, I got here because of this, and there's not really a path to follow. There's not really like a step-by-step how to follow, because you're saying, oh, the only reason I'm here is because of this, but there's not actual like connection, like Danielle was saying.
Don't want you don't want all the craziness of the first, quite honestly, probably 6 years of entrepreneurship. I went through so much stuff, and I super highway sped it, like you just mentioned.
I'm sorry I'm pausing this. The stuff she went through in direct sales was her own choice. she decided to break the rules in slumber parties or pure romance or whatever and sign up for another company that was that like messed up with her contract with pure romance, so she got let go, and then she's in Modere, and then she broke Modere's rules about having a romantic relationship with someone in the company as an employee. She gets terminated from Modere. So what do you I don't get it. Like, those are all decisions that she made, in my opinion. But okay.
Because I wanted to get through the pain so I could get to the pleasure as fast as I possibly could. I didn't want to, like, if you're in hell, why did you pull up a seat? I forgot who said that. It's like one of my favorite books. Like, oh, you're in hell? Well, then why did you pull up a chair? Like, you're uncomfortable? Put on roller skates or something. Get out of there. Jump on a bicycle. Start moving. You got to get out of hell. I did not want to sit there in the flames. So, you know, anytime I listen to somebody who's tremendously wise, or they're telling me things where I go, whoa, that's, oh, what? Like, I have these mind blown events. I realize the reason they have that kind of wisdom or that expertise or that information or whatever it is that I'm learning and gleaming from them. Well, it's because they've been through something. Like, I can't teach you, I guess some people do this actually, but I don't teach business on theory. I teach business on what I've actually done, how I've had success, the things that I've done.
You've had success because you've settled lawsuits and you've grown because of the financial sacrifices of your downline. And then you've taken some of the profits and invested in brick and mortar businesses, or you've been an investor with companies. Like, how do you get to that first stage without exploiting a downline, in my opinion? Because she goes from graduating school with a marketing degree to working in a lab to getting fired by the owner of the lab or whatever, and then she goes into multi-level marketing. I don't get it. I just don't.
I don't talk like the cancer journey. People that tell me the cure, and I go, baby, I'm not telling you a cure for anything because I'm not cured yet.
She can say that now, but that's not what she says when she's by herself. And I say this as someone with empathy who is legitimately sad that she is battling stage 4 colon cancer, and she has bought into the alternative health space in a way that doesn't leave room to be able to make nuanced, informed decisions about her health, because she has shaded the shit out of doctors and people who do chemo, and doctors who prescribe chemo. I'm not saying you shouldn't have body autonomy, but what you're doing here and what you've done in private, meaning what you've done on your own lives when nobody else is there, isn't this reasonable, like, decide for yourself. And also, I'm combating my own influence so that you don't pick up anything that you shouldn't from what I say. And I never recommend what I'm doing. She's always said, you know what? You're basically sheep. You gotta wake up. You gotta, like, you know, realize that the medical, whatever, traditional medicine is out to get you. That's the undercurrent of what she's been saying. And now she's all reasonable.
Tell you what I'm doing, but
too many people are teaching the lesson they need to learn most, or they haven't had that experience.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and then maybe that's why I put myself in as many life experience and situations as possible. I'd like to be uncomfortable.
I think I forgot the disclaimer. Oh boy, it's okay. I don't know. Should we play it now? We're like we're 23. There's a disclaimer in like, I don't know.
I have one in my description.
Oh, I'll put one in my description. I forgot mine. Sorry. This is our opinion. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, I did forget. I got like sidetracked because anyways, yeah, it's my fault.
We're trying our best, okay?
I'm not the smartest one. I like to go to events where I feel like, ooh, what am I doing here? I like I joined a real estate mastermind about 3 years ago because I'm like, I don't know jack all about real estate. Like, what am I doing? I got all this money, thanks network marketing initially, right? I have all this money, and it's just like, I don't know what that, you know. And I had invested in some companies. I had done some, you know, some small stuff here and there, and I was doing well, but I wanted to learn more, so I dove in the deep end. I went to I left my first. I don't think I ever told you this. I left the first day of this mastermind, like day 1, Avengers Real Estate Mastermind. And I was sitting in there, you know me, I'm early there always, and I leave the last, and I'm always in the front because I believe leaders are learners, and I'm gonna take some notes. And I sat there and I took notes, and as soon as I left, I went back to my room and I cried because and this is just 3 years ago, because I had no idea what these people were talking about. They were talking in acronyms from stage, like everybody in there should have known what everything was, and all these, like, I'm like, what do you mean if the interest rate is this and all emotional about it. And I realized, thank God I'm in this room. Like, this is making me so uncomfortable, and it is causing tremendous growth because I'm around people who are talking about cap rates, and I'm like, what? I'm lost. I'm literally lost. I'm crying. You know, what? Like, oh, we're talking about Airbnb and what are all these things? I mean, I thought Airbnb investing was just you buy a house and then you put it on Airbnb. You know, like I didn't. But it put me on this just like rocket ship in real estate, and then 2 months later or whatever, I'm buying hotels with some partners that I've met there. Like, crazy stuff can happen when you put yourself in these containers, basically.
I don't know
What hotels did she own?
She, back in the day, had shown a brochure on her stories that she was investing one of many in this like hotel in Las Vegas, or it was in California or somewhere. And it was like a group of people coming together to invest to get a percentage.
Okay.
Like, that's from what I understood. I didn't know that she actually followed through on it. And I take what she says with a grain of salt, because she makes the claims that she owns the home she lives in, but then she doesn't. She rents them. I think that's a big difference. I think owning and renting is different, and that's okay. But to say you own when you're renting, all of a sudden it's like, well, what else are you saying? That isn't.
And also, why?
Years and why?
Why are you lying about that?
Yeah, it's just that's a great question. Why are you lying about it? So
weird flex.
Yeah. To learn and to grow. And I've just been one of those people where I want to be the stupid one. I don't need to be the smart one. I can be the dodo bird. I'm super comfortable sitting in that space and then taking the opportunity to grow. And I just wish more people would do the same. I think their lives would look much different.
I agree.
So if people are negatively impacted by the economy or by situations with chronic pain or just a multitude of different things, and they end up unhoused, or if they end up near or below the poverty line, that's on them. That's what I'm hearing from this, and I may be taking too big of a jump, but that's not always. Life isn't that simple. It's not just, oh, people who are unhoused just don't want to work. No way. There's no way. There's no way that that's the situation.
Everything. It's like the people who choose to be affected by their trauma are choosing that, like.
Yeah, that's a no. Absolutely not.
Tony Robbins, let's go back to TR. Tony says the quality of your life is how much uncertainty you can handle, not how much certainty you can handle. And a lot of people think that they have to be, so comfortable and they have to know the answers to everything. I remember when years ago they asked me to teach wealth mastery, and this was when I was going through my divorce. And I'm like, well, first of all, there is no way in hell I'm going to talk about something when I'm going through it, when I'm like not really living it, right? The way that I know that I need to live. And so I went and I kept going back and kept going, like you said, like, what the hell are they talking about? What are they talking about? Asset allocation and core 4 and all these things. I'm like, I don't know this. But then, like you said, when you kept over and you're like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to hang around those people. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to start investing. I'm going to start doing all of those things I know. And like you said, like, now, come on, sister, we're building a house in Cabo. You're coming to Cabo.
Let's
right?
go.
So, like,
nice.
But like all of those things, though, it took that part of being uncomfortable, right? It takes that part. That's part of the journey. And if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, right, then you're really setting yourself up for, I don't know, it's kind of like, well, you haven't, I don't know. It's just a couple things about that when I see people, they just want the shortcut, and there is no shortcut. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I mean, so many people have come to you. I've seen it. Like, come on, Jessie Lee, just tell me the shortcut with regards to this. It's like, no, it's talking to a lot of people. No, it's putting yourself in those situations. Yep. No, it's having those, like you talk also about, like, what did you said something beautiful that I wrote down. If I'm going to take responsibility for my wins, then I need to take responsibility as well for my losses or my failures with regards. Can you share a little bit about that? Because I love that.
So this was just something that I think popped in my head a few years ago when I was in regards to leadership, because I see people all the time. It's very common where when they're super successful, or like if we'll take networking as an example, just because this is where this came from when I started saying it. I would look at network marketers, which God bless them. Okay. Love it. I would look at these network marketers, and as soon as they would hit a top rank or something, it's like, I am elite unicorn superstar queen of the world. Look at what
I'm the #1 network marketer in the world. I'm the best network marketer in the world. I'm #1. I'm the top most earning network marketer in the world. That's all things Jessie Lee has said. So she's like laughing at people who are saying, oh, I'm celebrating this rank that they actually earned, and you've been pretending to be the #1 network marketer in the world. Like, when is reality coming? Like, when is reality getting here? Because we're waiting for it, and I'm just confused. Oh my god.
Whatever suits her narrative of the day. That's what we learn every time we watch Jessie Lee.
Ugh.
I have done. La, 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 la. Okay, it's like I sold all this. Look how many customers I have. I have all of these distributors, and look at all these leaders that I have created.
She literally says that.
Yeah,
have
she's like making fun of herself.
Yes, like, I've recruited this many. She said it in her recruiting boot camp. I've recruited 12,000 or 20,000, however much. I've made $20+ million in the industry. I make this much per month. She's literally talking about herself right now, in my opinion. She said all this stuff in her little recruiting boot camp she did.
Okay, like there's just like this. They're like throwing parades for themselves, okay? Which I love, you know. I think the celebration Zooms are adorable. I think it's great, you know. You get walked across stage like la di da di da, okay, all this stuff. And yes, you've worked your butt off at some capacity, more than likely, unless you hit the lottery, in order to have this achievement. No doubt about it. And people love that. They love saying, "I'm this rank, I'm this, I'm a $1 million earner, I'm a blah blah blah. Here's my trophies, here's all this stuff." As soon as stuff starts to go wrong, as soon as stuff's, oh, well, the company, well, the compensation plan, well, the leaders quit, well.
Literally, there's a screenshot of Jessie Lee. No, it's on a TikTok where she's like, I've never quit my, whatever, earning money in my network marketing, even when times are tough, when one of her biggest legs left her downline. So she's saying, oh, those people who are complaining about things that actually impact their bottom line, those people, are just silly. But when I do it, it's meaningful. I mean, I don't know. It's weird seeing the TikToks that she does, or the videos that she does, or the posts that she does that she is talking about right now that like are in opposition to what she is saying. I don't know. Just what's happening?
Well. It's like they blame everybody for everything else that went wrong. I'm like, whoa. Do you mean these leaders that you created? These leaders that you developed? These leaders that you did all this stuff and you flew to their houses and you. Like, people are so fast to say, look at what I did. I'm amazing. I'm like, if you want to take credit for everything you've done in your business, well, then you better take credit for every single failure. You want to know why you dropped rank? You want to know why your check went from $100,000 a month to $20,000 a month? You want to know why half your customers are gone? You want to know why the compensation plan isn't paying you the same? You, buddy. Like, it's you. It's not your company. It's not your team. It's not your upline. Stop pointing fingers, dodo bird. It's you.
So is she going to take this same advice for herself? That when no. Danielle's just like, nope, she's not. Oh god.
And I just think it's like, I've always been like, oh, sugar. Like, if my business doesn't look the way I want my business to look, guess who needs to look in a mirror?
Yep.
This girl. But I do it with my whole life, so I'm not trying to make people feel bad when I say that. It's just like,
I've never heard about, like, when were you like an entrepreneur like me? Like, I worked at the flea markets when I was like whatever, and my brother and I started the Cow's Hide. We made like belts and like the bracelets. Don't worry, I'll make you one day, Jessie.
Amazing. I
just have an entrepreneurial spirit. Now you look at me in a whole different light.
I need more cowbell, please, Lauren. More cowbell.
So, did you have any like fun little entrepreneurial experiences when you were growing up? I know you had to take responsibility because you had to, but
yeah. But yes, for sure. And I think here's the interesting thing. It's weird because I'm an observer. Like, I love observing people because I think you can learn a lot just by watching instead of always having something to contribute to the conversation. And I get really interested in watching kids these days because you can learn a lot from them. When I was an uncomfortable, weird, strange, outcast child in my small town, and people were like, that's the weirdo, here's the weirdo. It's just...
Did they really say that about her? I'm not trying to like gaslight her. I'm just, I don't know. Maybe she did have all these experiences. Like, I've never talked to anybody she went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, the town that she's talking about didn't seem that small, but I don't really know. So I don't know. She lived in a suburb of DC, but I mean, her reality I don't know. The floofs are circling. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's just wild. It's just wild. I think you just got a new member, or did me? I don't know. Do you see it? Me? Oh my god,
think
thank you
so.
so much. Whoever it's for, thank you. I'll play.
I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to Illyria. Welcome, 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 welcome to Illyria.
Danielle already knows all the dance moves. The windshield wiper, your fingers, it's all there.
She got 2 names, like whatever. And I was like nerdy, and my dad was in jail because I sent him to jail, and we didn't have money, so my clothes fit all funny. Or my mom would make the clothes, which like my mom's talented, but like, you know what I mean? Like I'm wearing like hand sewn clothes, or like, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. You know, yeah. There were a million reasons to make fun of us. We were just a very strange family. I look back on that, and I'm like,
she keeps saying this, and I can imagine that it would be a hard thing to reconcile, calling the police and saying that you need help because your dad is in a fight with your mom, like in a bad way, and that then the police come and they arrest your dad, and then your dad goes to prison. I can imagine that does something to your brain, and that a licensed counselor maybe is the best investment that you could make in yourself to help heal from that. I don't. It sounds like I'm trying to like negate what she went through. I guess I have questions because there's been so many times that she said things that weren't the truth, or they weren't even close to the whole truth, or they were really twisted, or they were patently false. And so I'm just now at this point, at this stage, whatever, her 13 years into network marketing or whatever it is, or 10 years or 11 years or whatever it is, it's like a lot of things seem to not be believable anymore because you've been caught in lies a lot. So I'm just wondering.
like so grateful because since I didn't fit in, I didn't do all the things that all these other kids wanted to do. Instead, I wanted to make vegetable stands, and I wanted to be the #1 seller at of the Girl Scout cookies, and I wanted to be the one figuring out like making.
So you had handmade clothes. You couldn't do anything, but you got to do Girl Scouts. Like that seems like pretty good. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Like
It doesn't really add up.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying either her storytelling is the worst of all time, or the math is not mathing, or it's a combination of both.
This little shopping center in my out of dirt, by the way. Glamorous. Okay, dirt and like little potting plant things that I probably found in like a riverbed or something. Like I was like always just this little creative kid. And so I look at kids now who just are so desperate to fit in, and then they're desperate for attention, which of course humans are desperate for attention, and people are so fast to like try to put them in these little boxes or say, oh, change yourself here, change yourself there. I'm so grateful that it was just like, yeah, Jessie, you're weird. Like you're very strange. You're like kind of this tomboy weirdo. Like you don't fit in this town at all. I'm so glad my childhood was filled with discomfort, because when it's filled with discomfort, you kind of get put in a position where all you want to do is win. And you realize that sometimes you're just not being celebrated in the environment that you're in. And I learned that from a very young age. I was not going to be celebrated in Middletown, Maryland. I was not going to be, put on, I wasn't going to be celebrated, period. That's the right word. I was not going to be celebrated for being an entrepreneur in a town of 1,200 people. I was not going to be celebrated for thinking outside the box or being excited about the internet. Like,
just to remind you, on her podcast, and you can look this up online and find the information for yourself, she got a full academic scholarship to Hunter College. She was smart in getting a full academic ride to a college to get, I think it was in business and marketing that she got her degree in, or something close to that. That's really meaningful and a great thing that she had access to because of the work she did in school. Like so you said like, oh, I wasn't going to be celebrated, but then she did the work in her middle school, high school, whatever, and then take the test to be able to be considered for a full academic ride. So I don't know. It's like she's saying the world was keeping her down, and also she was able to get out and do something great because she had the doors opened for her with her. I think an academic scholarship does open doors for you, but I don't know.
I was like, even little digs, as an example, that I know were people making fun of me. was a senior magazine. It's sort of things that just stick out in your mind as you grow. There was a senior magazine that came out obviously each year, and my senior year, it's like, how do they connect the senior class? So at the bottom of the magazine, every single person in the senior class was connected. So it'd say something like, as an example, Jessie Lee's a Scorpio, like Lauren the Hav, and they'd be like, who is, and then it would connect you to another person. And mine was just, I'll never forget this. Mine was Jessie Lee has friends on MySpace, like, and it connected me to another girl. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, because I don't have friends in real life. You're like making fun of me for it.
What? Would you have come up with that, Danielle? If someone had said, like, in your senior magazine, oh, Danielle has friends on MySpace, like whoever it is, like someone saying, oh, you have friends on MySpace, but you don't have friends in real life? Like, what? Look, I love a conspiracy theory as much as the next person, but like, what?
No.
Oh my God. I'm just confused. I just don't. I don't.
Make it make sense. Somebody in the chat help me. I'm lost.
Oh my God. I'm pulling up my back end stuff to see something. Good spider, bad spider. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Holy moly. Y'all are misbehaving in the chat. Okay, pop out chat. Let me just pull this up over here. Before we move on, let me just play them a sound clip. Really a short one. Sounds.
What, like it's hard?
Perfect for Jessie Lee. What, like it's hard? All right, here we go.
Because everyone in the small town had their little cliques, and I didn't have a clique. I was just like the fat nerdy band kid who spent time on the internet making friends on forums and MySpace. And it's so funny when I look back on that, because here we are. When did I graduate? Like almost 20 years ago, right? Almost 20 years. It's like, thank God I found the friends.
I can't. It's like every time
I learned how to
every part of the story, she adds another detail. So now not only was she poor and not only was she wearing handmade clothes, she was also fat and she was also in band, which in this context she's insinuating was like a not good thing to be doing. And it's just like she keeps adding another layer.
I know.
Her history is like an onion.
When you look at her as a kid, like, I wouldn't like, I think that kids can be mean. I'm not saying they can't be mean. When I see pictures of her, I don't see the things that people would make fun of her like she is describing. Am I saying that she didn't get bullied? No, I'm not saying that at all. Like, I'm just, again, like, if you're gonna tell the story, why not tell the story in its entirety and tell it in a way that you can be consistent? I just don't see the consistency. I don't see the consistency when we listen to her podcast and she says this similar story, or when we listen to other podcasts that she's been on where she tells it a little bit differently. I'm just, a little warning flag is going off in my mind to be cautious is all I'm saying. So,
yeah.
Communicate with people, not just in my little stinking bubble where everybody thought I was a little weirdo, because I found millions of little weirdos just like me on the internet who are all around the world. And now I have business in 41 countries. I guess the accelerator is in like 80 countries. So I guess I can say I have business in 80 countries. And I get to travel the world. And, you know, the girl from who has friends on MySpace.
What is it? Thank God for unanswered prayers. The old songs, like, we're so hungry for love and to be accepted. Like you said, like I had a moment, as you know, when I saw you at a wedding in Asheville, where I grew up. All these anchors came back for me because it was like, oh hell no. It's like a lot.
Oh, she's mad. Did you see her look over at the camera now? She's trying to cover Avi up more. She like did a double take. Y'all will have to rewind it if you're watching this, because
everybody's like, thank you. It was a big gift to get me out of there with where. So let's talk about a couple other things. I want to be respectful of your time. First of all, come on, tell me about those dogs, because I love that you're a dog mama. And my babies are right here. Talk to me about this love for your dogs.
I can't even put it into words. It's still technically Kumba Charles's birthday because we don't know when he was born. He was adopted out of an abandoned warehouse. So I celebrate for 5 straight days. But anyhow, yeah, it's crazy. They're 9 already. I don't know how this has happened. I am devastated. But I will actually tell you something about these dogs, who are my absolute children. Like, I would harm people for my dogs. I don't know if you should say that on the podcast. Whatever. You know what's interesting? I have learned so much from them. Like it's strange. I actually used to struggle a lot with scheduling before I had them. So my first 3 years of business was just super scattered. And something about getting the dogs on the schedule, have to do the certain things at all times of the day. I really want to give an Academy Award to Wookie Lee Ward and Kuba Charles Ward for my success, because they made me be regimented, especially Wookie. Because when I got Wookie, I was one of those entrepreneurs. I'm putting that in quotations because at the time, my God. But I was really an entrepreneur who was like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't have to use an alarm clock. So I'd wake up at like 11:30 every day and then be like, oh, that's fine. I think my work done. Okay, one of these people. This is most people, to be honest, like diddle-daddling around. Except for Wookie woke up at 5:30 every day. And it wasn't like awake and then back to sleep. It was like, I'm alive. Let's go. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, my God, come on. And so she got me on this schedule, and she's stubborn as hell, still is to this day. She wants what she wants, and she is going to get it no matter what. And if she wants to sit, she's going to sit.
That's a really good point, Kelda, and I appreciate you saying that. Kelda said I wasn't bullied for any physical appearance kind of reasons, but I was still horrifically bullied. So you can't always go based on pictures, I don't think. Correct. I think what I was trying to say was she was saying she was bullied for being fat and as a kid, and then I was saying, but yes, you're correct. People bully people for all kinds of reasons.
She wants to walk, she's going to walk. If she wants to cry, she's going to cry for no reason. If she wants to make noise, even though she's deaf, she's going to make noise. And she just got me on this, like, you better be super regimented. At 7:57 p.m., because she eats at 8, she's like, like she's just always been that dog. And then Kumba is just my soul dog. So, when you're just anytime, I'm so connected to them. So it's like, I look at the cancer thing. It's crazy because Kumba starts having crazy anxiety in January, like extremely clingy, can't get off of me. I'm like, he's not always like that. So this is like protective of me. It was really bizarre. And then Wookie broke out in this crazy rash. Like I took her to the ER because of it. Her eyes are pink. She's got torn skin. She's bleeding everywhere. The day I get out of surgery, the day I go for surgery to remove the.
And she keeps touching your stomach because she has ascites, which is a increase of like the lymph or like fluid around your.
It's like fluid retention.
It can be a sign of late stage cancers. That's the only information I'm okay with sharing.
You can Google it if you're interested.
Yeah, you can Google it. So I think this podcast happened either a day after or a day of her PET scan results coming back. So that's why I think that she keeps touching her stomach.
Colon cancer, the skin rash is gone, the anxiety stops. I come home, both of them are perfectly fine ever since. So it's like, they just know.
People feel that it's not like that, that they're not tuned in.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's the reason animals in general. I like no child. I mean, I'm not trying to make everyone feel a certain way, but no child of mine is going to a zoo. No child of mine is going to a SeaWorld. No child of mine is going to aquariums or none of that. You want to see the ocean? We will go to the ocean. You want to see Free Willy? We can go see Free Willy. The orcas are swimming like crazy these days. You want to go whale watching? I'm down. You want to go shark diving? Fine. You want to go see coral reefs? Let's go. I'm not taking animals out of their habitats. Like those are real creatures with real feelings. And you think we're gonna go see lions at the zoo? You lost your ever loving mind. We're going to Africa.
Well, we're going to Africa, just so you know. You're coming with
I'm coming with you. We're going on it. Let's go. Botswana's got a hell of some safaris there. Like, no. I'm not, no.
That, again, not... I mean, that's one thing we agree on, but there's also, it's more nuanced than just zoos being awful. There's lots of I'm not saying that I love zoos or SeaWorld. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a lot of surrenders for people who are decided like, oh yeah, having a lion cub would be great, and they cannot be returned to the wild because they've been inbred and they're surrenders, and then zoos get to let them live out the end of life, or they get to also do some research on stuff. So I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's more nuanced than saying let's shit on zoos together. I am not a fan of SeaWorld at all, but I'm just, I can't be like fair and balanced all the time on my channel. And I know that everyone has lots of strong feelings about everything. So please don't burn my channel down.
No, ma'am.
Well, I want to talk about one other thing. I just need to know. I love talking healthy, but love both talking about health as well. Yeah. So I love me a good colonic. I know you love that coffee enema.
I had my first colonic. Did you know that?
everything come out all right?
Yeah, everything came out great. You know what's really funny? I made a TikTok about it. I said, you know how I've told you guys on the internet before that I'm not full of shit? Well, I'm just going to let you know. But it was really funny because I've been there for like an hour and a half, right? And it wasn't like, it was not this dramatic experience that I think a lot of people experience. And at the end, I said, well, you know, how was that or whatever? You know, like, is this normal? Is this not? And she said, well, I actually expected a lot more toxins, just given your health history currently, because they can tell from the color of it or something like that, like what toxins are coming out of you. And she said, I love doing colonics for people who do a lot of enemas. She's like, you hardly have anything in you except for all the way up at the top of your colon. So we can just like, and I was like, so you're telling me I haven't been full of shit for a long time? And she just like busted out laughing. And she's like, no, literally, there was hardly anything in you compared to most people. But
A what? I don't. Again, to say that, yeah, I support her own decisions, but then she also says stuff like this where someone's gonna pick up and say, "Oh my gosh, if someone doing a colonic said that Jessie Lee having stage 4 colon cancer, they're, you know, they look like their colonic is like super healthy or whatever." I don't even know how to say all this stuff. It gets twisty. Like, what? You can't tell someone's health by like literally by flushing their system out. You have to go in like and do colonoscopies or biopsies or whatever it is. You can't just say like, sometimes you can see some stuff that's in your poop, but it's not, it's more nuanced. It's more complicated. I don't, dang.
But anyway, it was a great experience though. I mean, I was just like, get it all out, girl, get it all out. Let's go.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, you talk about that being your emotional center, right? And so like for me, when I first did the whole thing, it really was letting go of a lot of the emotional things. So anyway, I know we've got a long time. I appreciate you. I love you so much. I'm gonna ask you one final question, two final questions.
I love this, by the way. This just makes me want to see you. Like, it just makes me, I just want to hang out with you.
Me too, you. You're an amazing woman. I truly, truly adore you with all my heart and soul. I love that anytime we're together, you know, even if it's just for a couple minutes, it's real. It's real. It's raw. It's right from the heart. You know, there's no agenda about anything. We're just there to support each other. I love so much about you, just how, you know, even when Veronica, when she was doing her hair and makeup once, I just wanted to know about her. It's like, that's just who you are. You know, you just care deeply. So thank you for taking the time to do this. What's one thing you do other than coffee enemas and other than red light therapy and ozone therapy? What's something that you do every day to stay true to yourself? Because, you know, for me, my whole thing, I've always been known as the stay true girl. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, you know, someone pull something up from 2001 from being the stay true girl, because I had an opportunity to do something. And I said, if I say yes to this, will I be staying true to myself? And that became my question for the next 30 plus, you know, whatever, 22 years right now. And that's why I always ask everybody, what's one thing that you do to stay true to yourself every day?
You know, it's interesting because I've had this evolution, I think, where, like I mentioned, especially with the cancer and stuff like that, I'm just even more boldly myself online. But it's always going to be that authenticity. And something I wish more people would do is, it's like, whoever you are on the weekends, be that every day.
There's something to be said for being yourself and being bold and staying on the line, or don't step over the boundary line of becoming a bully and wishing harm on people. And I know there's mixed opinions about people covering Jessie Lee Ward and covering her behavior as she also is walking out her stage 4 cancer journey. There's also a difference in what I've done and Danielle has done and other people have done to say, we wish no harm on her. We hope that she does get better. With any, like, we hope that whatever treatment she's doing, even though we don't think there's scientific foundation for that to be reasonable to say she could get better from it, we hope she does get better. And that's wildly different than her wishing actual physical harm on people who talk about her on the internet. I think there's a big difference in there. And I think that we try to stay on the other side of that boundary line of having commentary and talking about behavior and not crossing over into the bullying realm. But
like, I don't fake myself. So when I want to do something, I do it, and I just do it unapologetically. I'm just committed to being Jessie Lee. I'm committed to not having separation between my reality and what I'm showing people. And when you do that, I find that your life and your business becomes a lot more freeing, because you're no longer trying to impress anybody. You're no longer trying to have everybody like you. You're just saying, hey, all this stuff that's playing in my head.
No side content so y'all can focus on this poor woman that has cancer. I've been covering her for before she had cancer, and it was a difference. And there's a difference between walking out your cancer and then using it as leverage to take advantage of people and make money off of scaring the shit out of people who need medical help. So I don't think that we're the right channel for you. You can watch, but I mean, I've been talked about on the internet. I don't like it. I also realize that because I'm a public figure, that there are going to be people who make videos about me. I get it. I don't have to agree with it. And there's also, I'm going to talk about unethical behavior. So that's the last I'm going to pull up of your comment.
Is what I'm going to put out there, and people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. So I guess it's just every day I'm just living authentically. I'm saying, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is the stuff that matters to me. These are the people who matter to me. And you hit on it earlier, but one of the healthiest things that's come out of all of this is I just don't have a problem saying no anymore. I don't have a problem saying that's not for me. I don't have a problem.
Did you
saying, I don't wanna
see?
do that
Sorry,
podcast.
did you see Katie's comment from my chat?
No, let me see. How far up is it?
It's the most recent one from my chat. It's right above Ov in the mixed chat.
Okay. Oh my god. I'm about to cry, not gonna lie. I'm about to cry. I'm not gonna lie. Danielle's channel, I can't help it. The waterworks button is broken. Like, I can't turn it off and I can't turn it on. Oh my god.
I don't have a problem saying I don't want to go to that event. I don't have a problem saying any of these things. I used to feel so much weird guilt around stuff like this. I would say, oh, I really should go to that event because blah, blah, blah. You know, even though they're only going to pay me $5,000 or something. I'm not, the answer is no, right? I've learned to just do things that feel so good to me and set up, I think more people should do this. I've learned how to set up more and more boundaries where the actual access to me is significantly limited, because I realize that when you have way too many voices coming toward you, you unintentionally, no one does it on purpose, you unintentionally start shifting things about yourself. So when people are when you do things, if anyone can do anything, when you start doing something in your life or you're about to make a decision, I just wish more people would ask themselves every day, is this idea coming from me or is this coming from somebody else? And if the answer is it's coming from me, then I want you to do that and not worry so gosh darn much about what everybody else is thinking or doing or worried about or how they're going to judge you or whatever. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you know this, you're very successful, many years in business. People are going to judge you and talk about you no matter what. So you might as well give them something to talk about that you're proud of. You might as well give them something to talk about that makes you feel, yeah, you know what? I did say that. And you think it's problematic, but that's just how I live. And if you don't like it, it's okay. Like, it's okay. And then you just have like this freedom about you where you're not worried about, oh, what if they say this? Oh, what if they hear that? Oh, what? It's just like, I just say what I feel. And if I do mess up and I say something hurtful or harmful or
illegal or something that breaks the law, like what? I mean, continue on.
Disorienting or whatever, talk to me, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I'm just kind of like out here living.
You block us before you are ready to listen to anything. We can't say, you know what? You actually cannot threaten people and wish them like harm or threaten to unalive them. That's like literally something you cannot do on the internet.
And so I just try to live every day and be authentic every day and continue to learn and grow and understand I'm just a student of this life, just like every single one of us is.
Oh,
love you, girl. Like so much. I love that this was a priority, that this was important. I can't wait to share you with all of the people that haven't had the opportunity to meet you first. I can't wait for them to meet you. Make sure to definitely check out the accelerator program. She's got so many wonderful things happening. She's got so many great things, masterminds, and we all got our stuff. And I can't wait to hug you in person. And how do people get up with you if they want to find out more?
You can go to bossly.com. It'll have all of my social media handles too, but it's just I'm Boss Lee on everything. I am BOSS.
Well, help her out.
Or Jessie Lee Ward.
Well, thank you, my friend. And I can't.
She's literally saying, hey, can you tell people where to find you? Oh, just go to boxley.com. So she's going to have people go to her website and maybe get sucked into her financial funnel. So then she can finally like find her social media. That's not what the lady, the podcast host was asking for. You're literally creating more work for her, but okay. Oh my God.
Can't wait to hear you with everybody. Go.
I love you. I will. We got to go to treatment actually, so I got to run out. But I love you very much. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Was that not like the weirdest ending? Like they were in the middle of a conversation. Then okay, bye.
Yep.
Where can I find you on the internet?
Yeah. Yep. You know about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills crossover. That's where she's going to treatment at the Malibu
Mhm.
clinic. Is that not twisty? I feel like that's twisty.
Definitely. I'm a big Real Housewives fan. Not necessarily that franchise, but I like to follow the drama. And so I don't know. It seems like 50% of those women are involved in some kind of scam. So
Oh my God, for sure, for sure. For 100%. I like watch it because it helps me turn my brain off because it's like
exactly.
it's not, like it's not like I'm not gonna probably cry. I'm probably not gonna I'm just gonna be like, this is so unlike real life. Like, okay. And then when I saw the crossovers with Yolanda Hadid and what she was doing and like how exactly like it was Jessie Lee's like holistic path, and I was like, okay, coincidental, maybe it doesn't mean anything, but I was like, that's odd. And then when I got to season like 8 and 9, and then we started seeing the clinic that Aaron has, I was like, okay, this is like woo-woo-y. And then she's at his clinic. And I'm like, this is the crossover that I did not know that I was ever gonna get. And it's so wild. It's so freaking wild. So
If you want to stream, somebody's asking where you can stream the Housewives. It's on Hayu. So it's like,
so
oh, okay. We don't have Peacock in Canada, so that makes sense.
okay. So if you're not in the United States, what is the one in Canada? It's called Hey You.
Yeah, HAYU.
Okay, and if you have Peacock, that's where I watch them all, and it's wild. So, yes, the Utah woman, Jen Shaw, is definitely
Jen Shaw.
Yup. Yeah.
I think that's my favorite franchise. Even before all the drama with her happened, I was very invested in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I just started Salt Lake City because I watch Emily D. Baker and she's covered some of the lawsuits from them, and I was like, I've never watched Real Housewives of anything, so I got started watching it because she was covering the legal parts, and I'm like, I'm totally invested right now. So
She was interviewed on, there's a podcast I listen to called Queen of the Con. Anyway, Jen Shaw was like the person they focused on for season 3, and they interviewed Emily D. Baker in at least 1, if not 2 of the episodes. Really good, really good. The whole season I think is out now, so you should all listen to it.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to. And I appreciate this. I love that you watch my lives to turn your brain off. I mean, if I could do some good in the world, I'm here for it. So I don't know what the wrap up is. Why the reason I was covering this was I thought it was going to be lighter in terms of how the unethical part of posting a podcast if you are the guest before the podcast host can post the podcast. It's just rude. It's just wildly rude.
Yeah, like I know some people in the comments yesterday were asking like, oh, well, didn't she sign a contract? Or like I would say the majority of cases, most podcasts, it's not a contract. Like you literally just, the host reaches out to you, they send you a calendar link, you book in their calendar. Maybe they send you some questions ahead of time to prepare, but that's it. There's no like, these are the rules, don't release it ahead of time. It's kind of just common courtesy to know that if it's not your show, like why would you be filming it and posting it to your own channels? Like,
yeah, it's more of like an unspoken etiquette.
Exactly.
I feel like. But I don't know. So that's why I was looking at it, and then it turned in really twisty really fast because she was bringing up how kind and empathetic and ABCDEFG she was, and that seems to be directly debunked by her own words on her own lives on the channels that she posts to: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And that is, I don't know, it just gets twisty. So that's why we were looking at it, and then it got sad. So then Danielle came to save the day. Save the day. So I don't know. It is sad covering this and having both emotions of being very, and you can believe me or not, whether I feel sad or not about Jessie Lee Ward's cancer, like that obviously is mine to figure out on myself, but talk about someone and talk about an unethical either business recruiting medical stuff that they're doing, and then also feel sad that someone has cancer, a devastating cancer like stage 4 colon cancer. It's twisty. So I don't know. And again, as always, I hope she gets better. And I think we also have to be realistic and say, is it a probability? I don't think so. Is it a possibility? Sure, anything's possible. But I don't know. I don't know how to wrap this up, but
Bye.
it's like our shortest live stream we've ever done. 1 minute. I mean, 1 hour, 5 minutes. I don't think we've ever
No.
been this successful. I don't think so.
2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. What's everyone doing later tonight? Should I
know.
stream again in an hour? No, just kidding.
I mean,
DC probably will catch
I
you there.
I'll probably do like a Stardew stream. I don't think I can. I have to go get my stitches out tomorrow. So, oh yeah, none of my things I got removed from the dermatologist were cancerous. So like that's a win. So, we love that. Go to the doctor if you need to, or if you haven't been in a while, take a battle buddy with you so you can go get your stuff done if you have insurance. So, all right. Live chat, you've been incredible. Replay crew, much non-culty love to you. If you didn't see part 1, go check it out.
I'll link it in my description.
I'll link it in my description as well. And let me link Danielle's channel. You should go sub to her. How many subs are you at? 17,000? 18,000?
No.
19 million? Like, what are we at?
I'm actually at 50, 100 million thousand.
Oh my god, I love that so much. Oh, this is the best.
I manifested every single one, so take notes, everyone.
I believe it. So, you know what I mean? Like, it all makes sense. You know, I can't wait to listen to that podcast to see if you were dragged.
Yeah, somebody listen. Everyone has to listen for me, and then y'all have to tell me whether she did me dirty or if it's okay. Because they emailed me and asked if I wanted to come on. And in the email they said we're interviewing coaches for this season, and I was like, oh, just to be clear, I'm not a coach, but I like make a lot of content debunking the coaching industry. Let me know if it still seems like a right fit. And this was her assistant that emailed me.
Oh God.
And so then they replied and they were like, oh yeah, like that's actually perfect. So in my head, I'm going into this interview thinking like, okay, we're going to have a productive discussion from the same side of the argument about why the coaching industry is so like crockety. So anyway, I get there and she starts asking questions about like who I am and what my sort of like history is with the industry. And I'm like, okay, if this is normal, we're just like setting the context. But then it just like, how is the work you're doing now different from coaching? And I was just like, and anyone who watches my channel knows that like all of my videos are scripted. I do not do well thinking on the top of my head. So I'm like, I get out of the interview. I'm like, I think that was really bad.
Oh
So I'm curious to see, because I mean, if they link back to all of my social media, it's not going to make any sense to anyone. So
I feel like your opening like new trailer for your channel is like, hi, you may be here from the Dream Podcast, and that's great. You may be under the assumption that I am a coach in the coaching industry, and actually I'm a person who uncovers coaches who are looking to coach people to teach them how to coach. And so welcome. If you are looking to debunk, then you will be able to find shit here. And if you're not, I am not a coach anymore.
Exactly. Oh my god, it was wild. So
Yes.
somebody else listen and let me know, because
Yeah.
I'm not listening.
Yeah. Well, I'll listen for you. I'll take one for the team. I can't make any promises that I won't cry though if it's Oh my god. Yeah, the new season's coming. That's the one Danielle's gonna be on.
Yeah.
You're gonna be on the same one that Jessie Lee Ward's gonna be on.
Yeah, so it's it's karma, I think, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched the whole Jessie Lee Ward thing and was cackling like, it sucks to suck, and then it happened to me.
Rip to Danielle's reputation. Oh my god. Did you rewatch the filming of you being on the podcast?
Yeah, I guess I should have filmed myself, then I would have known if it was good or bad.
Oh my god. Maybe that's what happened. So they couldn't, maybe that's why Jessie Lee Ward does it, so she can know if she's being
Dragged or not.
dragged or not. I mean, totally new territory that we're in. And then release the film now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's okay. We'll see what happens.
Missed opportunity.
Yes, literally.
Honestly, my thoughts about the whole thing are like, okay, well, if they try and frame me as a scammer, at least I know, and my community here on YouTube knows I'm not a scammer, so
Yeah, and
whatever.
All 3,000 of my buddies here know you're not a scammer too. I mean, maybe there's some hate subbies, but I don't think there are too many of those. But we know you're not a scammer.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It's fine, I'll just be here doing my thing. This is
Danielle,
what I get for being a public figure on the internet.
oh my god. Well, best wishes to Danielle's reputation, and thank you so much for listening to our live stream. Oh my god, I'm just kidding. All right, let me play the kazoos in Danielle's channel. We do love kazoos here on my channel, so I'll play the kazoo song and we'll peace out. Okay.
Bye.